Let's compare three things in particular.
Hello friends! Apple recently released the brand new 10th generation iPad, and I've got one in pink along with a few new accessories. Let's unbox everything, then do a practical comparison for artists. This is Apple's base model iPad, and it now comes in three vibrant colors: pink, blue, and yellow, and it also comes in silver. It's 10.9 inches, and this new version is now compatible with USB Type-C cables. One big thing to note is that this iPad is only compatible with the first generation Apple Pencil. The first gen pencil was made for the older iPads with lightning ports, so in order to charge it with this iPad's USB-C cable, the pencil now comes with an adapter. Apple also released a new collection of SmartFolio cases, which color coordinate with the new iPads. Now, the color of the case is much more vibrant than the color of the iPad, but I think they still work together nicely. Another new release is the Magic Keyboard Folio. Unlike the Magic Keyboard, which is one piece, the Folio comes in two pieces. One piece snaps onto the back of the iPad magnetically, then these three magnets on the iPad snap onto the magnets on the keyboard. There's also a little flap on the back piece that folds out to create an adjustable stand. When it's closed, this also works as a protective case, but it does add quite a bit more weight. Now let's look at how this iPad compares to other models from an artist's point of view.
If you're new to digital drawing, an iPad is an excellent choice no matter which model you choose, but let's compare three things in particular.
Layer limitations, pencil performance, and price.
Layer limits become more and more important the more advanced you get with your digital art. At least that was the case for me. But if you're brand new to drawing digitally and you're just starting out and you're still in the hobbyist phase, this base model iPad will probably be just fine. But just for the sake of comparison, let's see how this iPad stacks up with a couple other models in terms of layer limits, specifically in the Procreate app.
Let's compare layers on a 3000 pixel square file, which is what you'll often see me using for most of my tutorials. On a file this size, the new iPad 10 will give you 25 layers. The iPad Air 5, which was released earlier this year and has the M1 chip, will give you a maximum of 112 layers. The 2021 iPad Pro with M1 chip, which is the iPad I personally use as a full-time artist, will give you a maximum of 204 layers. And if you're curious about how an older iPad compares, a 2017 iPad Pro gets 55 layers on the same size file. Keep in mind that if you work on a smaller file, you'll get more layers. If you reduce the canvas size to 1500 pixels square at 300 dpi, those layer limits will more than double in most cases. Now let's take a look at pencil performance. The first generation Apple Pencil is a great stylus. I used one for several years before upgrading to the second gen. In terms of drawing performance, no complaints. Now in terms of practical performance, I must admit it's not as convenient as the magnetically charging second gen pencil. As I mentioned earlier, to charge the first gen pencil, you'll need your cable and an adapter to make it compatible with the new USB-C port. Yes, the setup is definitely more cumbersome than just snapping your pencil onto the side of your iPad to charge it. But honestly, this is how I used to charge my old pencil. About 5 years ago, I found this case on Amazon where I could store a little adapter and my pencil, and I just plug in my pencil at the end of the day to charge it overnight.
So although this has been a big sticking point for many tech reviewers, it doesn't feel that outrageous to me because this is how I used to charge my pencil before the second gen pencil came out.
Since this is a base model iPad, I can kind of see why Apple has paired it with the more affordable base model pencil.
I will say, however, that if you're someone who loses things easily, you're probably going to be pretty annoyed at having to keep tabs on this little adapter.
Now, what's going to be the biggest deciding factor for most people is the price and what you'll get for that price. This 10th generation iPad starts at $449 for the 64 gig option, and the 256 gig option is priced at $599. For most artists, 64 gigs of storage is usually not enough, so really you're looking at the $599 price point. Then you'll need to add another $99 to that for the first gen pencil. So that's a total of $698 before tax. The iPad Air 5 is $749 for the 256 gig version, and that one's compatible with the second gen pencil, so you'll need to add $129 for that, bringing the total to $878. If you step up to the brand new iPad Pro, which was just released, the closest size would be the 11-inch version, and with 256 gigs of storage, the price is $899. Then add $129 for the second gen pencil, which brings the total to $1,028. Now that we see how the new 10th generation iPad compares with a few other models, the question is it the right fit for you?
I'd say if you're new to digital art and it's a hobby and you'll only be drawing occasionally, this is a great starting point. Now, if you are already an artist and you want to transition to working digitally and you'll eventually need more advanced features, my suggestion would be to budget a little extra if you can and get the iPad Air 5 with the M1 chip because it'll give you a little bit more runway to grow into it before you'll need to upgrade. So here's another option. If you want to keep your budget below $700, consider getting a refurbished iPad Pro. The second iPad I ever purchased was refurbished. I bought it directly from Apple, and it still works really well to this day. So keep that in mind as another alternative.
The availability of refurbished options changes frequently, but at the time of this recording, the closest comparison is an 11-inch iPad Pro, a 2018 model, with 256 gigs of storage for $539. With the second gen pencil, that would bring the total to $668. If you're looking to buy a new iPad, there's definitely a lot to consider, but I hope you found this helpful. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you'd give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.